us for the wrap up for this modern PTQ prep league. So, Burn is Burn. I mean, this league showed a great example of Burn at its best, Burn at its worst in the same matchup. Grixis Death Shadow, turn 3 kill and the draw? Yeah, turn 3 kill through Disruption, and then games 2 and 3, waiting to draw a burn spell, waiting to draw a burn spell, didn't draw a burn spell. Had some oddball matchups playing in a friendly league. Happens. I mean, Mono Blue Tron is a thing sometimes. Bring to Light Kiki isn't really a deck, not that much. I mean, it was interesting. They had main deck Obstinate Baloth, hard to play around. Madcap Experiment, pretty good against Burn. Maybe I should have brought in more Pass, thinking something along those lines. Beyond that, blue-white control deck, seeing a lot more play with Death Shadow floating around, so that's a pretty reasonable, somewhat skill testing matchup. And so, I mean, two matchups felt really real: blue-white control, Death Shadow. Burn felt pretty good in both matchups. Both matchups were close. Had a chance to win both matchups. Won one, lost one. Mono Blue Tron, it's almost a laugher for this deck unless they get Chalice down. Treasure Cruise, or not Treasure Cruise, Treasure Find, whatever the heck that deck is, Swans, isn't a deck. I mean, it's like a 10-ticket deck on Magic Online. Some people can play it, not really a matchup. As far as the deck itself, difference between this and some of the other almost purely Boros lists is running the Atarka's command in the main. Allows you to facilitate the turn 3 kills with a couple of 1 drops. Sometimes that's what you need in certain matchups. Does make the mana a little bit clunkier, does make the deck a little more susceptible to things like Spreading Seas, Tech Edge, Ghost Quarter, that kind of stuff when you're playing the third color. I've been playing the third color anyway for the Revelries in the sideboard. A lot of lists are running like Skull Cracks in the main, and then down to 1 Stomping Ground for the Revelries. I personally like Atarka's Commands, that's why I'm playing it in this list. The only other difference between this list that I'm running and a lot of the more stock lists right now is I'm running the full 4 paths, the Deflecting Palms, the additional Skull Crack effects. I'm not running any of the Graveyard Hate. A lot of decks are running Rest in Pieces or Relics. And those cards are fine. They have their place against Dredge, against various strategies, even Death Shadow. I found that I don't really like to bring it in against Death Shadow. I like the Pass and the Deflecting Palms, maybe not even the Deflecting Palms. And then the Skull Cracks, boarding out the Goblin Guides, bringing in those 8 cards, boarding out the Searing Blazes. I've liked that sideboard plan. It seems effective, gives you a lot of live draws off the top. Rest in Peace, you have to have it in a very specific, timely manner for it to be impactful in the game. And if Dredge was a bigger thing, I would probably be playing at least Relics, if not Rest in Peace. But for right now, with Dredge kind of on the downtick, not really as serious. I mean, it's a legit deck, but it's not a serious enough percentage of the metagame to devote sideboard slots to it. So, I mean, the other decks you would bring in Graveyard Hate against, Blue-White Control or Grixis Shadow, you saw we could very easily go toe-to-toe with both decks without Graveyard Hate, so I don't really feel it's necessary at this point in time. I mean, if you have a different opinion, feel free to sound off in the comments, tell me why. Maybe I should be running a couple pieces of sideboard hate, but as of right now, this is very similar to the list I'm running in paper, so deck I have quite a bit of familiarity with. So sometimes Burn does Burn, sometimes Burn loses to itself. Sometimes, very rarely, your opponent has the right hate cards, like match number 5 against Kiki, where they had Madcap Experiment. Well, they had Scavenging Ooze into Obstinate Baloth into Madcap Experiment. It's just really hard for Burn to overcome that. I mean, if you're packing that much hate, more power to you. But, like I said, this is one of the other options in addition to Skred and a bit of Eldrazi. We'll be testing with Eldrazi a little bit later in the week and then cycle back around and start testing Skred again. PTQ is coming up here in about 2 weeks from recording, so 22nd. So I'll need to make a decision pretty quickly. I have quite a bit of familiarity with both Burn and Ben Eldrazi, a little less with Scred, but I think all three decks are feasible. See how the results go, see if there's one way to sway me one way or the other. So this has been Dusk for Us Dawn Gaming. Thank you for watching.